Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Podcast. I'm Ben, that's Josh, and no, Josh is not going to go fight a fire later on. He's he's a little under the weather, they may say, but it is what it is, I would say. But we're here, we're recording the podcast. We have a fun episode ahead of us. I know, Josh. It's kind of it's funny because I feel like there's always an episode like every other month where one of us is just like not 100% sounding great.
Yeah. For you guys on video, you're gonna see me cough and sneeze a handful of times today. My nose is running, my eyes are watering and a little red. I'm freezing cold. That's why I got my flame retardant work coat on because I also am doing a shift after all this, and I can't sleep. But I'm married to the baseline, Ben. Married to the game, for better, for worse, richer, for poor, sickness and health. I'm here, live on the air, ready to talk. Today we're doing a pre-combine NFL mock draft.
Yes, sir.
That'll be the main topic of discussion. But yeah, anything going on new with you?
No, nothing crazy. We've had our imports arrive for football. So our two Americans have arrived, and our Dutch players and our other UK guy arrived this week. So it's been going good. Special teams is looking good. We're doing the old Urban Meyer playbook where it's you kick it high and into the 5 yard line at the left corner of the red zone, and you just hope you cover well. I'm praying that we cover well because if not, we're going to be giving up a lot of kick returns.
Mm.
But I am excited. It's looking good. The weather's getting nice. It's been like about 50 degrees throughout so far this week. So yeah, it helps the LA boys that we have to actually enjoy playing out here in the semi cold weather.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of cold too, out on the ice, out in the Olympics,
Oh man,
men's also took home gold in
phenomenal.
overtime game-winning fashion, and it was another Hughes brother that came away with the goal right after getting his mouth all
Yeah.
busted up. And we had that incredible save that happened beforehand. But yeah, men's hockey, absolutely legit. Taking
Yeah.
gold there, just like the
Yeah.
women did. It was
It, it
awesome.
it is fun. You know, I was joking with you before we got on air that I work with a guy like two doors down that's Canadian, and he was saying that the goalkeeper for the U.S. I think plays for his team he roots for. But then the goalkeeper for Canada plays against the is for the rival of or the team he doesn't like in the NHL. So he's
Mhm.
like, as a Canadian, I loved seeing a great save because it was my guy, but then I also hated it as a Canadian that we lost. Um, and I
Yeah.
and I saw someone say, uh, it's sad when Canada's one good sport or the sport they're very good at, they're known for, they lose twice in the same
Oh yeah,
in
they
the
lost the
same
gold in
Olympics.
both of them. This
Yeah,
was also the men's first gold since the Miracle on Ice in
yes, and
1980.
it was actually the anniversary of the semifinal game when they beat the USSR. So
Mm.
that's what's even crazier is like the kind of the way it's and actually there's a player on the team, his dad, no, sorry, his uncle and his grandfather were on the last two gold medal winning teams. So his uncle was on the 1980 and his grandfather was on the 1960 gold medal team. So the only other times they've won gold medal, this guy had his family, which I thought was really cool. And it just gives you a little bit of a taste.
Yeah. I got to watch the first two periods on Sunday before church, and then got to service and stuff, and saw that it had gone to overtime, and then that Hughes had gotten that goal off the assist from Rowinski, I think. And then later in the day, I watched the movie Miracle. Since it had been a while, it seemed like an appropriate time. But
It's awesome, man.
yeah,
I bet,
there's a lot of good stories of this team. I mean, just the Hughes brothers, like, and the
yeah.
Kachuk brothers, like having two
The
different
teeth
brothers,
getting
and
knocked out.
yeah.
And also on top of that, USA finished second, the most medals they've ever had in the Olympics, 33, but they still finished second in the total. Norway finished with 41 gold medals. Oh, sorry, it's 41 medals total. USA finished the second most medals. So
There you go. Represent.
represent.
Shout out Alyssa Liu too for figure skating. We haven't had a gold medal there for quite a while also.
I know. It is it is kind of funny because I was telling someone this that um I was talking with one of my friends that said that it's crazy how like the US is, it's never been like an amazing in the Winter Olympics, but we've always been like decent. but it seems like we're now starting to like really dive into some of the more sports that I think we could be good at, but we just haven't had the chance, I think, or haven't had the talent to do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like this year, I don't know if we're taking gold in hockey if we don't have the NHL. I think the
Oh,
NHL
no.
players have sat out the last two Olympics
Last
because
two.
of
Yeah.
COVID concerns in Beijing and like injuries and like old CBA possibly if my memory serves me right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad it got to happen.
Yeah, I'm excited. So, but hey, we're not going to spend all the time talking about the Olympics, are we? No, we're not.
It's
Because
all over now.
there's a big thing happening, Josh, in like a month. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. Um, and it's something that we do every year. If you didn't know, this is something that we do every year. Um, we we literally go through and we give you our mock draft. Usually
Yes.
there's like what, three? I think we do three versions usually
Three
every.
versions. I know a lot of the big
Yeah.
analysts will do up to 4.0, but basically we've always done like a pre-combine, a post-combine, and then like a week before the draft
Yeah.
just
And
to iron out a
usually
few things.
it gets kind of wild.
Gets
Um,
interesting. Yeah, I'm curious how drastic players are going to move up and down. That's always like a topic of discussion. But
yeah.
yeah, last week we ranked our top 10 pitchers for the baseball season. Spring training is going on right now, so we're gonna put top 10 batters for the 2026 season on hold for next week, and then
Yes.
just talk some combine performances then. But we're just gonna go ahead and lay out what we are thinking of this NFL draft for now before all the guys do all their testing and meetings with teams and stuff.
Yeah, I am excited because I think it's how do I put it? I really like doing this because for me it like helps me see more players that maybe I just didn't watch because a Ohio State fan, you're a Florida fan. We tend to watch our teams, and then this is like a way to kind of go, okay, maybe this guy does have more value than I maybe gave them credit for, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'll just go ahead and say on mine, I didn't predict any trades in this one, but I do have
Okay.
a lot of defenders going pretty high. This draft seems to be, from first glance, pretty heavy in defensive talent and offensive line talent. There's not going to be I mean, there's going to be some skill guys drafted here, but I think this is going to be more of like a line of scrimmage draft as opposed to
Yeah, I agree.
past where we had like six quarterbacks and we've had some stacked wide receiver
Yeah.
groups and stuff. So. Why don't we kick it off, Ben, with number one pick, Las Vegas
Okay.
Raiders? And it
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
like there's a consensus, obvious option right here, but I know that you're one to, go against the grain sometimes, but
Yeah.
I don't even think I think this is pretty obvious even to gentlemen like yourself. So just go ahead and kick us off with who's
Yeah.
going first in this draft.
So first I have Fernando Mendoza. I just I don't look, I don't really personally like the fit. I think if this year, if you're honestly an NFL team, you have to somehow mend together a season and wait for next year when you have possibly Julian Sand, you have Arch Manning, you have I'm trying to think about some of these other guys you have coming out next year. So you have such a more loaded quarterback class next year. But I think it's like this, like almost this, like you have to take a quarterback if you're in the top five picks. It's like a must. Um, I think Fernando Mendoza is a good enough kid. I think he just generally is a solid dude that his work ethic's going to be there. And so for me, I just look at the Raiders. What did they miss? They really missed having a quarterback that could do something with. And again, you have your running back in Jantier of the future. You have some tight end, a great tight end room. I think you need to improve the wide receiver room, which will be interesting. But I just think it makes the most sense.
Yeah, I'm going Fernando one. To me, he's just a good college quarterback. I
Yeah.
wouldn't do this myself, but until I see some legit reporting that the Raiders are thinking elsewhere, I'm just going to go ahead and predict that this is what they're going to do. So it's not what I would do. I think Fernando's a great kid, obviously. Loved seeing him win the national championship, but I just don't think he's got much of an NFL future ahead of him. But we'll see what happens. Fernando number one, which takes us to number two, the Jets. And the Jets got two picks here. They got the second, and then they got the 16th later in this first round. So there's a lot of different directions they could go here. And I know they traded Sauce Gardner and they traded Quinnen Williams
Mhm.
last year, some spots in
Yeah.
that defense. Garrett Wilson only played half the season and was the leading receiver there, but I think that's just a little too high to be taking somebody at the second pick. I don't think that, going Carnell Tate there, Jordan Tyson there, makes sense. So I'm just taking the probably the best available defender right here from what I've read so far, and that's Arvell Reese, linebacker from Ohio State. I don't really have a whole lot to say about him other than he kind of reminds me a little bit of Micah Parsons, where he can play linebacker, he can rush the passer.
Yeah.
Big, strong kid. I mean, I'm talking to an Ohio State fan, so this is nothing that you guys, majority of the audience, I think, is Ohio State fans also. I'm not telling you anything you don't know already, but I just
Yeah.
think that uh, they go with, and they also got a defensive-minded head coach with Aaron Glenn. So Arvell Reese right here at second for me.
Yeah, I was really trying to figure out where I would go. I would not be surprised if they trade out of this pick. I really wouldn't. I think this is a team that could trade out of this pick. But I think when you know Mendoza's going to go one, 98%
There's
sure.
just not another good quarterback to trade up to two
Exactly.
for. And
So
I
what I'm
know the
saying,
Jags traded up for Hunter last year. They really believed in him. I don't know if there's a
yeah.
prospect someone else really believes in like that.
No, I think the only thing you would see is maybe if somehow a team gives the Jets enough that they go up to get Arvell Reese. I think that's how good of a prospect he is. But I think if you're the Jets, you've screwed up the draft pick so many times. Like this is a guy who it's a guarantee like he can start day one and you're not worried about where you put him. Okay, if he struggles at linebacker and he doesn't pick it up right away, okay, you stick him on the edge. Right? If edge doesn't work, okay, you put him back at line. Like he's so flexible. I saw him again. I am a little worried about how he kind of didn't show up at the end of the season in a way that I think you want him to. But again, you look at like they're double teaming him, right? You take I mean, it's like what we see with Myles Garrett in Cleveland, right? When you take away a guy, when you take away another blocker, it creates problems on the other side. So I think it's just a smart move here, and I got Arvell Reese going number two as well.
All right. Takes us to third with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Take it away, sir.
Ooh, this one was a tough one for me because I was really struggling I, because they need help on the offensive line. Like, to be honest, they need help at quarterback. They need help at receiver. They like every offensive position, I think. Um, I decided to go tackle here, but I was debating between the two, between Francis Muaga, and then Spencer Fanu. I think I'm going to lean towards the Utah guy. All right, we're a Utah for some reason. We've become like a Utah, like also somehow cheering section. I went back and watched some highlights, and I like him a little bit better. I think you can plug him in on both sides at tackle. I mean, you obviously have Paris Johnson, so you're obviously going to put him opposite of Paris Johnson. But I think you have to get something, whoever your quarterback's going to be, right? You go out and get Malik Willis, if you trade Murray or whatever you decide to do, I think you need to have those bookend tackles for the next 10 years of your franchise. So for me, I think it's Spencer Fanu for me at three.
Yeah, a lot of different routes the Cardinals could go, but I'm with you on offensive line. Get you a tackle, the lineup opposite Paris Johnson, and I'm going with Francis Mauigoa from the U. That's a guy that I've been high on. I believe he's been starting since his freshman year. Just such a big, strong kid, and I mean, it really is like 1A, 1B. It seems like with Mauigoa and Fanu from Utah. Right now, it's a coin flip. We'll see if the tests once at the combine reveal anything or make anybody higher or lower
Mm-hmm.
measurements and all those kind of things. But yeah, I'm going tackle, just a different guy here. So I'll go from Miami, and
Love it.
then I'll go ahead and move on to four here with the Titans. Continuing to push this rebuild. They got a new coaching regime in here with Robert Salah,
Hmm.
a defensive-minded guy, and there's a lot of good defensive prospects, like I said before. So I think they go ahead here and get the guy that led the country in sacks, and that's David Bailey, the edge from Texas
Ooh,
Tech.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
Now,
Okay.
this is where you could use the logic that they should get protection for Cam Ward and they take Fano right here, or they could go and get a weapon for him and go get Tate right there. I just think that some of those might be, uh, I don't know, just the. I guess what pushed me over the edge is just the more defensive focused head coach.
Yeah.
But again, the Titans are a team that could go a lot of different routes here. But for now, I'm going David Bailey on the edge.
We're thinking alike this time around mock draft, which is, by the way, if you're new to this show, it's very rare that in a mock draft that Josh and I are on the same page. It's like very rare. Usually we're thinking complete other opposite ends. But for me, I do. But I'm actually going to go with Ruben Bain here. I know that might be a stretch, and I know there's a lot
Mhm.
of people that think maybe he won't go. But I just saw what he did in the playoff, man. I mean, that
Yeah.
guy made Ohio State's offensive line. And look, I gave him credit from the beginning. Like I thought he was better than what Ohio State media was giving him credit for. He's just a freak, and I just think that it's kind of like Arvell Reese. Like, what are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like
hmm
he's just a guy who can play all over the place. I think you could, on third down, you could stick him inside. I think he could rush from the interior. Um, yeah, I mean, I like David Bailey. I think he's going to go in the, probably the top 10 at least. But to me, I like what Ruben Bain brings to you. I think also as a rush defender, I don't know if David Bailey, again, I think David Bailey can. I just think Ruben Bain has done such a better job of he's so strong and just able to maintain that edge, being an edge setter. I think is what changed it for me.
Yeah, I think right now, production wise, obviously goes to Bailey. Physical specimen goes to Bain. So I guess it's just a
It's like
matter of
it's
what the
almost like
tape
one. It's
shows.
like almost like one B A one B again in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, we got that I think with tackle, and we got that with edge
Yeah.
right here too. So we're on to five now. That's the Giants, who have a new head coach also with John Harbaugh taking over.
hmm
Don't know if that influenced your pick at all here, Ben, but who do you got going fifth?
Yeah. I was struggling with this one. I'll be honest with you, Josh. I didn't know where to go. I mean, I seen mocks say Caleb Downs. I don't think Caleb Downs goes this early. Um, he might. They don't need a safety. I mean, they have. I mean, again, it's not like a prior need. A lot of their needs have been like receiver, offensive line help, cornerback. Um, so I don't think there's a cornerback that goes this high. I don't think in even the top 15. I also don't believe there's they could go receiver here, right? You need to get some help for Jackson Dart. Um, so I could see Carnell Tate going here. I'm actually leaning towards you know, the offensive line. And so for me, this is where I go Francis. I think he makes I think he gives you that guy that you can build off of. And I think what do we know is with Jackson Dart? He ended because of concussions and stuff. There's so many things he was dealing with. You need to get him protected. I hate it because as a Browns fan, I'm looking at that going, great. The two best tackles are off the mark, off the
Yeah.
ledger there. I just this is where I could see the Browns if they feel like that's going to happen. If one's already off the board, this is where I think the Browns could go to the Giants and be like, "Hey, what do you want for this?" And then maybe you trade up a spot for a tackle if you're really that desperate. But I think Francis Moaga goes here.
You actually named when you were shuffling through picks who I went with here. And Harbaugh's a guy coming from Baltimore, and they had a really freaking good safety with Kyle Hamilton out there.
Yeah,
He's had a lot of good defenders out there in his secondary. So even though it might be a little bit high, I think prospect wise, there's not too many more sure things than Caleb Downs.
and I
So
might change this by the way. I'm just letting you know.
yeah, I mean
This might end up changing.
this is only
Yeah,
1.0. Uh, Safeties usually don't go this high, like you said, but the offense, while it's young, seems to be getting built up. You got Dart, your quarterback of the future, maybe your running back of the future with Scat.
yeah.
Malik out at wide receiver, Andrew Thomas on the offensive line. So like a lot of the cornerstone pieces there are set, and you just need to find some fillers over there. I'm gonna wait to see if they decide to do that in free agency, but yeah, just the talent right there. Although it is high for a safety, I think that Harbaugh is gonna like what he sees and push for them to take downs here.
Yeah, I like again. I have a good idea that I'll probably change it, especially after we see this combine, and maybe what we start seeing what the Giants want to do more of. I think if you're the Browns, that's the best case scenario is they go Caleb Downs there, and then now you have a free pick. Do you go receiver? Do you go tackle? Um,
Yeah,
I saw Caleb Downs go in the Bengals. Please no. There's one team I do not want to have Caleb Downs. It's the Bengals. But yeah. Anyways, next pick.
yeah. So that takes us to six with Cleveland, and
Yeah,
depending on who the Giants take right here, I think is gonna solidify who we take. If they go ahead and take Fano, I think that we might go Tate and just knock the
yeah.
receiver pick out. Because then you're kind of reaching for another good tackle prospect at this point. But since Fano's available right now, I'm going to go ahead and say that's where we go. And they wait on addressing receiver later in the first when they got picked 24. So, yeah, Depending on what the Giants do, I think is going to, say, okay, they're going to go this way or they're going to go that way. And at least right now, as it stands, Fano from Utah. Browns get their tackle of the future right there.
Yeah. This is where I was kind of trying to figure out what to do because obviously I have both tackles gone that the Browns would want, I think.
Hmm.
It is kind of crazy because I've just realized that Utah has two tackles that could go
They do
within the
have two
top
tackles that are
15,
going to
which
go
is
round
wild.
one, I bet.
And then I realized that I put Miami guys back to back. But I think Caleb Lomu, this is probably too high for him. I knowing the Browns, they'll probably trade back. Like it's the Browns. Like that's probably what they would end up doing. But to me, I go, what is the guy that gives you the best opportunity? I don't know if I can trust Jerry Jeudy anymore. After this past season, I don't know if you have your guy
Yeah,
out
that Pro
there.
Bowl year was
Uh,
the one off year, out of the
yeah.
ordinary, one
And
hit
so for
wonder.
me, it makes sense. This is where you go, Carnell Tate. You get an Ohio State guy, a guy that is a Buckeye. You keep him in state, and you give yourself a weapon that you can have for the next 15 years, and a guy who I think could light up Cleveland for sure.
Carnell was a guy I was like, is he really going to be a top 10 pick? Like watch him in
I
college,
think
and
so,
that
dude. But his skill, man. Whew.
hey, all the discussion seems to be pushing that he's going to be that high, and I was just like, man, maybe a little bit of that on me was just
Jeremiah
overshadowing
is
him
so
with
good.
Jeremiah Smith out there. I mean, yeah, as good as Jeremiah is, like if Carnell's a top 10 pick, imagine how high Jeremiah is going to go next
I
year.
know.
Like we don't like we're going to see another wide receiver go top three. It's been a little
It's
while.
wild.
Marv went
Wild.
fourth. Braylon Edwards went third. Calvin Johnson went second, but that might be Jeremiah. But that's another draft for another day. Moving on to seven. That's the Commanders,
Yeah,
who had one of the worst defenses. If it wasn't for the
it's
Bengals,
true.
it probably would have been talked about a lot more. But uh, they also got Debo heading to free agency, so there's a need
Yeah.
for potential receiver talent right there. But you go ahead first, Ben, with
I
where you're leaning Commanders seven.
So this is the thing. Um, I think what's hard here is that you have two really good defensive players still on my board. You have Caleb
Correct.
Downs, you have David Bailey. Where do you go with this? Right? I think if and I was trying to put my head in the GM's, in that office, I think you have to go with a guy who's going to cause more damage, I think, early on, and a guy who can I think create chaos. And I think that's David Bailey. I think David Bailey just makes sense here. Again, nothing against Caleb Downs. Again, I think you're looking at such a bad defense that honestly you could go with either of these picks. But I think David Bailey gives you that almost immediate pass rushing threat that at least solves that problem, and then you can add a DB later on that will help you out in the long run. But I'm going to go David Bailey here.
Yeah, Washington was awful defensively, and at least on my end, I already got Caleb Downs and David Bailey gone, but I do have Ruben Bain here. And looking through just the production on the Washington defense, their pass rush was about in the middle of the pack as far as the sacks go. I'll have to
Yeah.
look a little further into, I guess, who's all coming back from that pass rush and stuff, but the pass defense itself was awful. So I'm leaning addressing the secondary and going Mansour Delane, corner from LSU. That's
Wow. Whoa, I didn't see that. That one shocks me a little bit.
yeah,
Interesting.
I think that Delane is a borderline top 10 talent. You absolutely could go Ruben Bain right here, and I'd be like, yeah, I mean, it's hard to deny a prospect like that. I just think that Delane fits a bigger need that's out in the secondary right now.
Mm.
Outside of Mikey Sanders, still, you really don't have any other defensive backs you can count on, and Caleb Downs is already off the board, so Delane's the best corner prospect in this draft, and going that route here at seven.
Yeah, this next one is just
Yeah,
stupid hard to
eight.
figure out.
I love
Uh
this pick right here that I got the Saints making it eight,
yeah.
and you already have him off the board on yours, but I'm going Carnell Tate right here. Carnell Tate to the
Interesting. Yeah.
Saints.
Yeah.
Wide receivers from Ohio State going to the Saints just seems to work out, Ben. Ohio State Buckeyes going to the Saints in general seems to work out for the
Yeah.
Saints. They got a great relationship with that school. Michael Thomas was great until he went all crazy mode.
Olave,
Chris Olave is literally there right now, but they just need a
Pete
that bigger.
Warner.
Yeah, Pete Warner's been another good one. Marshawn Lattimore, he's not there anymore, but yeah. So Carnell Tate right here, I got lined up opposite Chris Olave. I figure they're moving ahead with Tyler Shuck at quarterback. You got to get him someone else that you can throw to, and
Yeah.
Olave's got some speed to be a burner, but Tate's got, I think, the ball skills and is a little bit bigger. And could be more of a true deep threat for you. So there's your
See,
second wide receiver right there for
yeah.
your pass attack.
This is where I'm in a funk here because you still have Caleb Downs on the board. Like
Yes.
if you're the Saints, do you go screw the wide receiver option? Do we just take a freaking good safety that could be that guy for the next 15, 20 years, right? Um, I just think that offensively they needed a weapon outside of Olave. I mean, Olave's been great, and you've said it. Every time we've talked about Olave, you always talk about how he's been consistent. But that's the problem. It's like it's him and Kamara. That's
He's
it.
had the concussion concerns
Yeah.
too.
So I'm going to say Jordan Tyson goes here. I think it's a big bodied receiver. It kind of reminds you of a Michael Thomas, maybe a little bit more. And it gives, I think, Olave some pressure off of him. And allows, I think, Kamara to be more of a threat again on the backfield. So that's why I'm going to go here. It just kind of makes sense in my mind, at least.
Yeah. All right, that takes us to nine with the Kansas City Chiefs, Ben.
Yeah.
Take it away. They just missed the playoffs. They
Yeah.
just freed up a lot of cap space with Mahomes restructure.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to make some moves in free agency. But what about the
This
draft?
this is interesting. Okay. Because sitting next is the Bengals, and I could not. I there's a couple picks I didn't want to have to deal with. Um, Jeremiah Love probably makes the most sense here. It probably makes the most sense. Like if you look at this team to get a good secondary running back, a guy who can be that guy. You could also go edge here. Like right now, edge. I still have Kendrick Falk from Auburn, but is he a top 10 guy? Not so sure. Then you have a wide receiver option. You have some corners. Like you, I was thinking about putting Delane here, but then I went, you know what? Screw it. Caleb Downs has went 8 picks without being chosen. This just fits like this championship
Just
pedigree.
take the
Caleb,
best player available.
yeah, and Caleb Downs has been in the championship level in high school and in college, and now you bring that kind of level of the Chiefs are not going to be as bad as they were last year. You give that defense an extra weapon like that. Caleb Downs makes the most sense here. I don't care if that's what they need or not. When Caleb Downs is sitting there at 9 and they every other team's passed on him, you take him.
I did flirt around with Jeremiah Love right here. I know Pacheco is set to hit free agency and Kareem Hunt is aging. I think
It's just
they're
too
setting
high
them.
for me. It's just too high.
That's the other thing is people have been saying Jeremiah Love's like a top three player.
I don't think he is.
It's just a matter of how you value running
Yeah,
back. And we know that the NFL doesn't really take running backs this very high unless it's
no.
someone crazy like Ashton Genty or Saquon Barkley. But Chiefs didn't have much of a pass rush. I think Chris Jones had 5.5 sacks and Carl Aftis had six. So Ruben Bain's still on the board for me. And this is
That's a
he's
good
not
pick.
gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that fits a need. It boosts the defense, and you get a freak on the defensive line here. Ruben Bain's fallen. It's kind of like what you were just saying with Downs. Bain's fallen far enough. He's not going past nine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Take
And
us to
so,
10 now with the
yeah,
Bengals. And the
that's
Bengals right
interesting
now are
one.
furious because Ruben Bain just went off the board and they're like, dang it, what are we going to
I,
do
I
now?
just love how their team needs, by the way, on everything is just defense. Like if you look at every website, it's
Yeah,
just defense,
for a while it's been the offensive line, and
which
I'm
it
sure
still
that's
might be.
it's still an issue, but that defense, like I was saying, it took over the headlines and took some distractions away from how bad Washington's was. But I'm kind of going with the Bengals, just taking the best available defender right here, and to me, that's Jermod McCoy. Now he's a corner that missed all last season with the ACL, but he's
He's a
proven
freak,
that he
dude.
can.
He's a
Yeah,
freak.
he's proven he can play with the best of them. Really good cover corner. You got. Definitely a need for that. You've been getting burned by so many good receivers. Uh, you just got to get somebody that can. And now I know that see, Will Johnson missed most of last year. He had a foot injury though. That's a little. I mean, ACL is a scary injury too, and Will Johnson fell farther than what I thought he would. We'll see if that affects Jermon McCoy at all, but. I think that he's got the talent to be a top 10 pick. We'll just see how teams, I guess, view that knee injury. If he's, you know, closer to playing than not. if that's a concern for them. But the Bengals, I think they just go best available defender right here with
Yeah.
McCoy.
What do you need when you have a defense, right? You need a good center of engagement, a guy. And I think Caleb Downs, man, if he I'm sure if you're a Bengals fan and you see this and the Chiefs, you're killing yourself because that would have been a great fit. But I'm going to say a fourth Ohio State Buckeye goes in the top 10.
I almost went that route too. I
And
know
I'm
who
going
you're
to
gonna
say
say.
Sonny Styles because Sonny Styles is a 6'4", 240-pound freak that played safety for 2 years at Ohio State, moved to linebacker, and runs like a 4.5 40. Like, and he's a guy who, by the way, missed one tackle all of last year. Missed one tackle. He's a guy who's going to be consistent. He shows up. He's a great leader. He's an Ohio kid. It's important to keep some of these guys. You want these guys that know Ohio football. So for me, Sonny Styles, I mean, Jared's probably really happy right now listening to the podcast. But I think if you're a Bengals fan, you don't get Caleb Downs, but you get Sonny Styles, another Buckeye. I think you're happy with that. And also having Ohio State have four dudes in the top 10, that just shows you again the consistency of this program.
Takes to the Dolphins at 11.
Yeah.
Uh,
Jeez, I don't know where am I going to go with this one. Um, this one took me also long.
I
My
thought a
buddy
lot
that
on this one
my
also.
my buddy that I coach with is a huge Dolphins fan, so I was trying to pick his brain. And he's like, anyone not named Tua. Um, so that's kind of funny. But I could go Makai Lemon here. It would make sense to get a receiver because obviously they lost Tyreek Hill. They really don't have outside of what Waddle. I
Jalen
think that's
Waddle
a
and then a
yeah.
big drop off.
Yeah. So they could go Makai Lemon here. Do they go Ty Simpson? Like, do they reach and take Ty Simpson? I don't think so. And so then they went, okay, they do need some help on the offensive line, but the biggest thing for me is take what a good player that's out there, and I think this is where Delane goes. I didn't think there was a cornerback that was in the top 15, but I think this is where you take him. I don't think Makai Lemon. I don't know if at 11 you take Makai Lemon. You might, but for me, I think this is where Masor Delane goes. He's the best corner on my board right now, and this is, I think, who goes here.
I got him going offensive line here.
Interesting. Okay.
For years they just don't care about Tua Tagovailoa's head at all.
Yeah.
And with the contract they got him on, I got to figure they're going to keep playing him for a handful more years. So I got him going offensive line here, and I'm going the Penn State guard, whose name I'm definitely going to butcher. We'll give it a shot though.
Ione is his last name, by the way.
Leone.
Yeah, it's
All right.
Ione because I think it's an I, so it's Ione, I
Oh,
believe.
okay. Uh, Viga could be his first name. We don't know. That's just, what my sources are telling me. But
Sources.
no disrespect to this man. He's a
No, at
great
all.
offensive lineman, and Penn State puts some really good offensive lineman prospects out here. So this is the first non-tackle that I have going off. Uh, Later on, there's some other tackles like they could go Caden Proctor here. He's got a little bit of guard experience. They could go the Caleb Lomu route. They could go Monroe Freeling, Blake Miller. Those are guys that I could see going later
Yeah.
first, but I think they just take best available offensive lineman right here and go Ione.
Yeah, this next one is super fascinating for me. But I want to hear your thoughts. So who are you going with here?
All
Because
right,
this
yeah.
is the Cowboys is super fascinating for me.
Cowboys got a pretty bad defense themselves. Uh,
Really, you were very gracious with that, by the way.
yeah, Bengals, Commanders, and the Cowboys
They're
are
just
the big three
terrible.
of
Just
bad
terrible.
defense.
They
Like,
have to go DB here, right? Like they have to.
well, you'd think, but I already got
I
Delane
know
and
you had the two good ones off.
Downs
Yeah.
and McCoy already off. So
I mean, go
uh,
edge, I guess.
I just got Sonny Styles going right here. He's still
Okay, that
available
makes
on my
sense. Yeah, that
board.
makes
Yeah,
sense. Yeah, yeah, that makes
yeah.
sense.
It's kind of like a getting a getting the best available defender right here.
It's almost like a
I think
poor
Styles
man's
fits
version of
that.
Parsons. It's like a poor man's Parsons.
Well, the back of the line. Parsons is on the defensive line and
That's
linebacker, and
true.
Styles is on the secondary and linebacker. I don't know if he
Yeah.
can rush the passer, uh,
He was okay.
like
He wasn't
Parsons
great,
kid.
but he was okay.
But yeah, like you already talked about him. Very dependable tackler. Only had the one miss. Very big, very fast, flexible. So it gives Dallas a lot of options on how they can use him. So Sonny Styles here at 12.
Yeah. I was thinking about where I could go. I mean, CJ Allen is the next best interior linebacker. I think that he's not going to go in the top 15. Like so I don't. I think the Cowboys are in a weird spot because if this is what happens in mine, I see them trading out of this because I just don't know if you stretch and reach. Jeremiah Love would be interesting here. Um, I
They
don't
just
think they.
extended Javonte
Yeah,
Williams,
I
though.
don't think they will though. I actually think this is where they go Caleb Lomu. I think he's a guy who they do need some, I think, some depth on that offensive line to protect Dak, and I think he's a guy you can plug in. I think maybe you slide him inside, but I think you keep him outside. So I think this another offensive tackle from Utah coming off the board there, going to the Cowboys.
All right, takes the 13, the Rams, who got a pick here
Yeah,
from Atlanta
and
that is
again,
going to be one of two first rounders for
yeah,
them.
and again, this is where I think they get screwed because Lomu goes right before them. I think you would hopefully get a tackle here, but I'm going to go the defensive route. I'm going to go cornerback here. And I'm actually going to go with a guy that has played this past year, and I'm going to go Terrell there from Clemson. I
Okay.
think sometimes you take the guy who does have that last year experience to kind of make sure he's healthy. I'm going to go Terrell here. Um, Probably a little bit of a reach, a little bit. They could go. I could easily see them going Lemon here, but I think cornerback. He's probably my second best cornerback on the board, and I think you take him here at 13.
Rams had the best offense last year, so it makes sense that, you'd address the defensive side of the
Yeah,
ball. But they are in an awkward spot here as far as what available defenders are here. Plus, you got Matthew Stafford reaching near the end of his career, and you want to max out all the potential that he has left.
yeah,
So I actually got them going with another weapon right here, and this is where I got Mekhi Lemon going, the
yeah.
Blitkoff
It makes
winner.
sense.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have
you
been
got.
Biletnikoff winner. Hold on. Shouldn't have been. We should say it
Well,
shouldn't have
he
been.
he has the trophy.
I know. I know. Shouldn't have been. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Uh, but Makai here, he's sub 6 feet. I think he could be a nice slot option with Devontae being over 6 feet and Puka being over 6 feet. Just you could go Tyson right here. He might be slightly better prospect, but I think Lemon would have more of a role in this offense. And so you got Stafford for how much longer? You got to capitalize on that. So I'm going the route with getting him another weapon since the defensive route here is a little interesting.
Yeah. So here, the
14 with the
Ravens.
Ravens.
Oh man, who do you got? Because yeah, I didn't. To be honest, right now I'm still deciding because I kind of have my list, and that was the one that I haven't really decided on because I think they either go O line or D line. I think that's just where they're going to go with this
Yeah.
pick.
Well, they got Jesse Minter taking over at head coach, who
Yeah.
was a defensive coordinator with the Chargers last year. Has been in the Ravens system before. Just an overall defensive guy, and I could see them sticking with that philosophy and going with who I have is the best available edge right here, Cassius Howell, Texas A&M. I think he had, I
Interesting.
think he had 6 or 7 sacks last year. Let me go ahead and double check that right now if I can figure that out. But um, 11 and a
He's
half,
really
is
rated
it?
more of it. He's really rated in the really in the 40s for this draft right now, currently. Where the
Yeah,
rankings
there's
are at
a
him.
some people got Keldrick Faulk going high. He just doesn't have the production.
No, he doesn't, and that's why I haven't put him
He only
out
had
yet.
2 sacks this past year.
And I forget now. Do you think are they going to run a 4-3 or a 3-4? Because that changes a lot of D tackle
Yeah.
thoughts. You know.
Yeah, so 11 and a half sacks last year. So he's got the production uh, from Texas A&M. Uh, again, just thinking of other edge guys right here, you got Akeem Mesidor, who's from Miami. You got, like we said,
T.J.
Keldrick Faulk from
Parker,
Auburn, who,
T.J. Parker from Clemson.
yeah,
He's also another guy.
yeah. I just like how the most right here. Fits defense, which Baltimore is, and what Jesse Minter is. Uh, I could see them going receiver right here because I mean we've been saying for a while they need more than just Zay Flowers, but I think that's just Baltimore's comfortable with that being their offensive identity with just one wide receiver, mostly tight ends, and run
Yeah.
focused offense.
Yeah, I like what you said there. I'm actually think they're going to go offensive line here. I think they need a guard, and I think Ione is still on my board. He's going to be the only guard taken. I think in the first probably 40 picks, 50 picks. And I think he looked really good last year when I saw some highlights of him. So I'm going to take Ione here at what pick 14 with Baltimore. I don't know if you think that's crazy, but that's what I'm going to do.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I just had him going a couple picks
Yeah,
before
yeah.
that. All right,
Oh, the
15, the
Buccaneers.
Bucks.
Yeah, I ugh, this team was weird. This is a weird team to
They
figure
always are
out.
weird, man. They're like right in the middle of the first round, and
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they could have gone here. I actually was thinking actually with Baltimore, Sadiq from Oregon was actually really tempting because of just the tight end usage they have. Um, and this is actually, to be honest, because I feel edgewise, I'm with you with Folk. I just don't, I haven't seen the production, so I don't know. And again, we know that most likely Mike Evans is not coming back. Do they go another receiver to, with Ibuka? D tackle, and actually that's where I'm going to go with this. I really think I like Peter Woods a lot, and I think Peter Woods goes here to the Buccaneers. It kind of solves that kind of interior. I don't think he's the best personally. Obviously, I think Caden McDonald's probably a very undervalued D tackle because he can play in multiple positions in there. But I think Peter Woods is the more flashy name to take here, and I'm going to go Peter Woods here.
yeah, a lot of different routes you could go right here. Uh, I actually got them going on the defensive line right here. Uh, also, and you said Peter Woods. I'm going Akeem Mesidor, kid
Yeah,
from
I like
in-state.
that.
The one thing that concerns me about him is he's like 25 years old. So
Yeah,
I usually like to shy away from the older college guys, but hopefully he's a
we know
guy
how
that
that
you can
is.
just,
Brandon Whedon. There we go.
yeah,
Flashback.
we know how that is. Yeah. So hopefully he's a guy that you can just plug in and be making an impact
Yeah.
instantly on that defensive line. Uh, because I know that, I mean, they were, I think, in the bottom third for sacks. They had, uh, Yaya Diaby lead the team in sacks with 7, and then after him it was Vita V with 4.5. They could go linebacker right here because they don't know if Levante David's coming back. Uh, so I do think they go defense, and for now I got Mesidor. We'll see if that changes.
So here's the Jets.
The
Ooh,
Jets. They addressed the defense with the first pick with Arvell Reese. Now I'm having them address the offense. And you can't have Garrett Wilson lead you in receiving yards with under 400 yards when he only played half the games and have
yeah.
no one get more receiving yards. So this is where Jordan Tyson goes.
Oh, I forgot. You haven't Jordan Tyson off the. I forgot. You
Yes,
still have him off
Jordan
the.
Tyson, this is
Wow.
where he goes. This is where he
Slipping.
goes. I think yeah, falls a little bit maybe, but I think the Jets are excited about this. They see him right there and go ahead and grab him. Uh, I thought about um, going the I mean they could go quarterback right here. I know there's buzz with Ty Simpson, but
I just
I
don't
don't
like
know.
it.
I
I
just
don't
don't
like
like it
it.
right there. I think wide receiver they're a lot more happy about
Yeah.
going right there.
I'm also going to go receiver. Makai Lemon's still sitting there, and I think if you're the Jets and he's still sitting there at 16, you take him, and I think that's where they're going to go with this pick. So Makai Lemon, he's a great, talented receiver. I think that's a good weapon alongside Wilson there.
17th, that's Detroit. They really
Yeah,
fell off without Ben Johnson there, even though they had
yeah,
basically all the same weapons on offense.
yeah. They need help on the offensive line. That's for sure. Um, the problem is at this point, you don't really have a ton of options unless you take Monroe Freeling from Georgia, or you take Max Eniakor from Arizona State, or you take Proctor from Alabama. I don't think you go that way. You don't want to take a tight end because you already have your tight end. I guess you could go receiver. And so for me, I'm sitting there going, all right, what do you got? Um, it's going to sound weird, but I have them taking your guy, Jamard McCoy. I think he's probably the best DB available. I know he doesn't play safety. I know they really want a safety, but I don't think there's another safety in the top first round. So I'm going to go Jamard McCoy here with this pick.
Yeah, I think I've heard Detroit might go defensive line right here. I know some people have been wanting to get another edge rusher alongside Hutchinson for a while. I do have them going offensive line though right here, and Caden Proctor, who can play tackle, he can play guard. They're about halfway as far as sacks go, but there's discussion of Taylor Decker retiring. which would open up an immediate need right there. So right now I got them going Proctor from Alabama.
Love it. I think we both had the same one, by the way, for this next pick. I really do.
All right, well, it's 18. It's the Vikings, and
Hmm.
this is another guy that I think the talent is it's just too much to ignore at this point. You're at 18, and it still somewhat fits a need. So I'm going Jeremiah Love right here.
Absolutely. With you
Yes.
100%.
All right, we'll tag team this pick together then
Yeah.
because Jeremiah Love, I know that Aaron Jones is there, but he's aging. Uh, JJ McCarthy, you don't know if they're going to have him at quarterback for
Yeah.
much longer, but Ty Simpson isn't really a guy that I think is going to do much better right now. You got Jordan Addison and Justin Jefferson at the receivers. The defense might need some secondary help if Harrison Smith retires here
Yeah.
soon, but I think you just go ahead and since we just said it's like, man, you got these wide receivers, but you don't have a quarterback can throw to them. Get him a guy in the backfield that can take some pressure off and even be a weapon out of the backfield for you with Jeremiah.
Yeah. I just think, dude, Jeremiah Love's at 18. I think this is the perfect time. It's not too high to reach a little bit. And I think with him, you need that. You need help. And I think he's the best running back by far, and he gives you that answer. Everything you said.
Hmm. All right, 19. That's the Panthers, who were
Yeah.
probably the most surprising playoff team, one of the most
Yeah.
inconsistent teams last
I
year.
This is fascinating with me because I think Kendrick Falk makes a lot of sense here. He's probably the best, I think, overall talented edge available. But actually, I'm going to throw a curveball in here, and I'm going to go with Kenyon Sadiq from Oregon. I think you add this guy to that blooming offense, and you give another guy who can play outside. He can play on the line. He can play in the slot. I love Sadiq. I saw him play against Ohio State. I think he's going to be really good in the NFL. I'm going to go Kenyon Sadiq right here.
All right, yeah, I think that defensive line is the route that they're going to go over here. Uh, Going the defensive tackle route, though, I think you go ahead and go op or get you a guy to team up with Derek Brown over here. So
Interesting. Okay.
Peter Woods, defensive tackle from Clemson.
Yeah. So I had to go a little earlier than you, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought about the offensive route, and Rico was a nice running back there. They took Tet in the first round last year, and uh, I thought about Sadiq. I think right now he's more of a physical specimen than a producer right now, as do I think Keldrick Folk is. But yeah, I think Peter Woods, you really get that guy on the in the middle there. Him and Derek Brown are going to be a nice D tackle punt, 1-2 punch right there, I think.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, 20 now. This is the Cowboys, and again, I got them going defense here.
Hmm.
So they went linebacker with Sonny Styles first, and now I think they can go ahead and address the secondary here and get Avion Terrell, that corner from Clemson that you had going several picks earlier. Uh, at 12, it would be nice if McCoy was there, if Caleb Downs is there, or Delane was there, but they're all gone. So I think they just go ahead and take Styles, wait till later, and then go ahead and take Terrell right here.
I like that. I obviously went offensive tackle, which is probably a very shocker, I think, to a lot of probably Cowboys fans. But my head coach is a Cowboys fan, so I have to ask him about that. But for me, there was one guy that popped in my head when I was looking at this and who was on my board, and that's CJ Allen from Georgia. I think you had them getting a linebacker early. I think this is the perfect opportunity. He's a guy who's not as talented as Styles, but is very productive. He's going to be a guy I think is going to be productive in the NFL. And we saw that with the Browns. You know, they got a guy later on that became player of the year rookie wise. And so CJ Allen just makes sense here. It covers that need at linebacker, and it gives you a kind of a piece to work with.
So that takes us to 21, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mike
Yeah.
McCarthy's taking over. It looks
Hmm.
like Aaron Rodgers is sticking around at quarterback.
Hmm.
I know they
This is
really
such
miss DK
I don't know
Metcalf,
I don't know what to
really
do with
miss
this
George
one.
Pickens.
Yeah, th this one was so dumb to figure out. I kept thinking quarterback. There's just part of me that keeps thinking that maybe they pull the trigger and they get Ty Simpson as like a kind of the next guy in line. But I think if you're the Steelers, you're like, why not and wait till next year when you can get a really good starter, probably late first round. Um, so this is where I decided to go Casey Concepcion. I think he's a guy who is kind of an under. He's like a weird kind of hybrid receiver type guy, who can do a lot of things for you, and he gives you that weapon that you're maybe looking for. And so I'm going to go Casey Concepcion right here.
I love KC Concepcion too, and I wish that he'd be falling to Cleveland at that 24 pick, but I got him going 21 right here to the Steelers too.
Look at us,
Uh,
man.
yeah, he's 5'11", 190, so he's kind of fast. Big play threat with the Aggies last
Yeah.
year. Uh, yeah, I think this is where the Steelers go. They really missed having Pickens later in the season when they didn't have Metcalf because that suspension. They really missed him. So I think that I thought Sadiq, but they still have Freiermuth at tight end for now. So right now I got them addressing wide receiver and going Concepcion right here.
Interesting. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. So that takes us to 22 with the Chargers. And this is where I got Keldrick Folk going. We'll see what free agency and stuff goes with right now, but the offensive line is probably what everybody's going to be looking at, but Slater and Alt are going to be back, those tackles. Uh, that's a big reason why the offensive line was terrible. So they're going to have them back and they're going to be fine. So if Khalil Mack retires, though, there's obvious hole right there. And Folk's the freak prospect. Hopefully he can have production to match it. But right now I got Folk, 22 to the Chargers.
I was gonna have Falk, but then I realized I still have Mesidor on there, and I again another guy who watched them play High State. Mesidor looked really good. I'm with you with being older, but Mesidor just makes sense. I think he's the better overall prospect when it comes to production than Falk. So I'm gonna go Akeem Mesidor right here.
Takes the Eagles at 23.
Yes, Sadiq would make so much sense right here, right? If you're looking at it, which I have a funny feeling that's where you're going with your pick. Um, I This is one of those I wonder if they trade out or if they get a tackle. Obviously, Lane Johnson did say he's coming back, so this doesn't make me feel like they're going to go tackle this route because he is coming back. But they do need, I think, help on the edge, and I think this is where Kendrick Falk goes. They get their edge guy, and I think that's just talent you can't pass up. But I wouldn't be surprised if they do go tight end. Do they get Oscar Delp? Do they reach and get him in the first round, or do they go tackle as well?
Yeah, do you go ahead and get Sadiq and move on from Goddard? Do you go ahead and get in mine I got Caleb Lomu going right here, Tuck from Utah.
Wow, I had him going 12, and you have him going 23. Big jump, big jump.
Yeah. Well, I just think there's a lot of teams in the middle there that I mean you could always get offensive line depth, so I'm not going to say they don't
Mhm.
need offensive line, but I think the Eagles uh, they should go ahead and prioritize that right now. So, especially a team that loves the tush push as much as them. A team that really I don't really know where they go from here. They had some issues on offense
Yeah,
that I think were related to just not having Kellen Moore call plays.
yeah,
They got all the weapons, so in a situation like that, I just lean with offensive line depth. Make
yeah,
that offense better. Give Hurts even more time to throw the ball, I guess.
yeah. I was trying to figure out like where to go with this. For me too, I guess. Yeah, I it's just an interesting pick. I don't really know, but
Yeah,
I'm interested to hear where you have the Browns going here.
yeah, yeah.
Could they go quarterback? Because
Eagles,
we have. By the way, I wanted to mention about the Browns. We have heard that they are. It's an open competition for quarterback. There's nothing certain, whatever that means.
oh boy, could it be Dylan Gabriel? Could it be Deshaun Watson? Or could
Ty
it be
Simpson.
Shador Sanders? Or you throw Ty Simpson in the mix? Yeah. Well, like I was saying before, I think they go tackle first, at least with the way that things shook out before their sixth pick. Now I think they got to address receiver right here. And it sucks that Casey Concepcion's gone, that Jordan Tyson, Mekhi Lemon are gone. Uh, could be potentially a reach. Some people got him going late first round. Denzel Boston from Washington.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I got him going right here to Cleveland. I personally think it's a little bit of a reach, but I do think that if it's a need that we're gonna need, Sadiq's still available here, but we got Fannin, so I feel fine with
Omar
that.
Cooper is also still available too.
Even with Njoku leaving, I feel good about having Fannin here. So go ahead and get Boston right here. Make our wide receiver corps better.
This is the most obvious pick for me. Obviously, I went receiver first. I think Caden Proctor, if he's still sitting here, you do not debate it. You do not ask about it. You just take him. I think that is like you see him on the
Same.
board, you take him like that.
If Proctor's there, I'm fine with us taking two offensive linemen first, also,
Yeah,
because right now they're all free agents on our team.
that's true. I think Batonio comes back though. I think they're gonna get something done there personally.
Hopefully, man.
Yeah.
All right, 25, the
Oh,
Bears.
yeah. This is an interesting one for me. Obviously they need a lot of help on defense. That offense was good. They could go offensive tackle here. Like Monroe Freeling was a thought. Kind of the end of this first round. Linebacker, there's not really. I mean, Anthony Hill is kind of he's on the edge, but he's not really. I don't think he's a first rounder. Um, there's no safety really around. I mean, there's the Hulsey from LSU. There's the guy from Toledo as well. But I think it's D tackle right here, and I think you go. As much as I think it's crazy, I think Caden McDonald goes here. I think it's the perfect spot. It's kind of like where everyone has him right now. I think he's the best defense tackle just because of his size and speed. He was a finalist for the interior lineman award. So for me, Caden McDonald.
I love Cade McDonald right here too. The
Look at
Bears
us,
defense,
man.
Bears defense led the league in turnovers, which masked a lot of the issues, especially on the
Yeah,
run defense. They were allowing over 5 yards a carry. So you got to get a run stopper here, and I think Cade McDonald can clog that interior right there.
love it. By the way, this is the first time I think we've sometimes had one pick. We've never had three picks be the exact same.
This late in the draft, yeah.
Yeah,
So Bills are next here at 26, and I got them going basically the same route. They were one of the worst run stopping defenses. Right now, I got them going Lee Hunter, defense tackle from Texas Tech, right here. For basically all the same reasons I just said with the Bears. Like, if you're Buffalo, you gotta stop the run better than what you did. You were in like the bottom five, and you gotta be better than that. So,
yeah. I might be regretting this because now that you said that, I make myself sound very dumb. But I'm gonna go Denzel Boston here. I think
hey, that's another route they could go because, I
they
mean, what do they
need
got? Keon
receivers, dude.
Coleman,
That's
and
it.
that's it.
They need help in the
Yeah.
receivers. So I'm gonna go Denzel Boston here from Washington. If he's still there, I think you take him and use that ability. But again, then it's almost the next team has almost got the same needs that the Bills had, which is just kind of ironic in how that all fits out.
49ers are up
Which
next.
yeah,
Yep.
and so I
27th.
I didn't know what I was going to do with this. I think they do go offensive line here. They could go receiver, and but again, I think getting Chris Bell or getting, Omar Cooper here, I think it's just a stretch. I think it's too much of a reach. So for me, I think they go the best kind of in my mind offensive tackle available, and I think this you go Monroe Freeling from Georgia here.
Hey, that's what I got too. I got Monroe
Look at
Freeling right
us,
here
man.
also. I was just thinking, like, as far as weapons go for Brock Purdy, all the receivers are gone. How much longer is Kittle gonna go? Do you take Sadiq right here for tight end depth at the very least? But Trent Williams is 37 years old, Ben. He ain't gonna be around much longer.
Yeah.
Even if you need a guy on the right side of the line, go ahead and get Freeling right here. Boost offensive line depth.
Yeah, so now here's where it gets interesting because you have
Texans.
the Texans, which I'm interested to hear where you go because I think they could go. I think they could either go running back or they go offensive line. That's where I feel like they should go in this case.
Yeah, and I'm leading the offensive line route here with Blake Miller, another tackle. So this is a that run here where we got some of them tackles that are first round talents, but would be too a little big of a reach when you're in the early teens. But I think Blake Miller fits a need right here. I mean, CJ Stroud just had so many stupid turnovers, and I don't know off the top of my head how much of those were pressure related or how many of them were just bad reading. I mean, you could
Hmm.
also say get him some more weapons, but like I said, there's not really any worth taking here at the end of the first. So I think that boosting the offensive line is going to be a better idea for them here.
Dare
Defense is
you
already feeling pretty good.
dare you say there's not a running back available? You know I'm Ben Bowden, and you know I choose guys that make no absolute sense
Oh
should
boy,
be
are
in the
you
first
taking the
round.
other kid from Notre Dame here?
I'm no, I'm not that crazy. I'm not that crazy. I'm taking a guy who you guarantee was not even on your radar, but I was looking at his stats. I looked at some of the highlights this morning. I'm going Emmett Johnson from Nebraska. I am taking Emmett Johnson. He's a guy who I think was very underrated because he played for a very crappy team, like a very bad team. I've seen Jonah Coleman. That was the other guy I was thinking of in this spot. Katron Allen was tempting, but I think Katron Allen's just had such a plummet in like numbers. I don't know if you've noticed, like since
Yep.
his like sophomore year, it's just gone downhill. And again, I think it's because of the usage. For me, Emmett Johnson has been a guy who's not been super, I think, utilized. So for me, I'm going to go Emmett Johnson. This is probably the dumbest pick I've ever done. This will probably not exist next one, but I have to live up for my name here, uh,
Well, look,
Josh.
Texans have been getting a lot of like old running backs like Joe Mixon and Nick Chubb in the building. They really could use a running back for the future. They can count. Parrish, the backup running back at Notre Dame, I think is his name, is another guy I've been seeing get thrown around right here. I haven't heard Emmett Johnson getting first round consideration, but you never know. We'll see what happens. We got the
Yeah,
Rams at 29 though now.
yeah. And do I go weird? We'll see. Um, I I'm interested to see where you go with this. But I'm going to go. Let's see. Who did I go? Who did I have to go? I went ahead cornerback. Sorry, so that's not where I was going with this one. Um, but I looked at them. I know they need a tight end. I know they need a receiver. Um, but I think you have to go tackle here. I don't think you can go without a tackle. And for me, the tackle that makes the most sense is I'm gonna go Max Ian. I can never say his name. Ian Nakor from Arizona State here at third at 29. Sorry.
Yeah, this is kind of a wild card. If I got Blake Miller or Monroe Freeling here, I'm probably going that route if I'm the Rams. But I was saying before, I had taken receiver to capitalize on Matt Stafford's like the rest of his
Yeah.
productive years. Why not go ahead and take the guy that can take over for Matt Stafford and not have to do it right away? So this is where I have Ty Simpson going, Ben. It looks like he's going to be the
Wow.
second best quarterback
Yeah.
prospect in this draft. I kind of view it not exactly the same, but when Lamar Jackson went at the end of the first round to Baltimore, that was a guy that didn't have to start right away, that got some time to actually develop and learn the offense. And I think Ty Simpson can do that too. He's not a guy that would probably do really well if he had to go into the game right now. But like I said, you got Matt Stafford in the building already. And what better of a guy to actually be able to, see one of the best to ever do it, see how he does it. So again, that's it's kind of a wild card right here. It could be a stretch. There's other areas they could address, but yeah, I got them going ahead and taking Ty Simpson right here at the end of the first. I got two first round picks, so I think they can afford to
Yeah.
like
Take a
pick a
risk.
pick that
Yeah.
develops a little bit more than
Yeah.
someone that needs to play right now.
Agreed. All right. You're up.
30 with the Broncos. Dylan Thieneman, safety from Oregon.
Wow, that was out of left field. I did not see that one coming.
Yeah, this guy's solid, dude. I think he had 6 picks the year before he transferred into Oregon and continued to
And the
do well.
Ohio State almost got him, by the way. It was going to be Dylan Thieleman and Caleb Downs in that back end. Can you imagine that combo? Jeez.
They got some exciting whites in the secondary. I know Denver does. So I think that I'm trying to remember, is Thieneman also white?
He is, yes, he is.
Yeah, add another one over there to continue with the brand. I know the Eagles got that going too, the exciting whites. So Broncos add another guy that can rival for exciting white
Um,
secondary.
it is funny that neither of us have took Caleb Banks off the board. He's like in many people's in the top 20 as a prospect, but to me, from Florida, which is funny that you
Hmm.
haven't taken a Florida guy. But me, I think the Broncos, one thing they need help is a receiver, but I think there's not a good enough one, I think, here at the end of the first
Yeah.
round. And I think that makes obvious sense. You took him earlier, would be Lee Hunter here. I'm going to put him come off the board at 30 to the Broncos.
So 31, the Patriots, the league runner-up.
Hmm. Shouldn't have been there, but anyways. Uh, Go ahead. Oh no, it's my turn. Sorry, it's my turn.
Your turn. The odds.
I'm gonna throw a wild card in here because they really need help at linebacker and off the edge. I think those are the two spots that kind of was a weakness for them at tight end as well. but I don't think there's a. I think the tight end side of it, I feel like it's a stretch to get Delp here. I really do, since I already have Sadiq off the board. Safety could make. I mean, Thielman makes sense at the Patriots. That makes so much sense. Like a white safety, that makes sense. But for me, I'm actually going to go with one that maybe you didn't expect, but I'm going to go Anthony Hill Jr. here, off the board from Texas. I think he's a really solid player. I saw him play against High State. He's a solid, sound guy. Um, I'll be interested to see if he would go in the first round, but I just love the talent there and what he could bring that team.
I almost went Caleb Banks here with the Patriots, but
Hmm.
since their pass rush lacked more than their run stopping, I decided to go Zion Young, the edge from Missouri over here.
Yeah,
Mike Vrabel's done a really good job building this defense up. It obviously is what carried them throughout the playoffs last year. There's just not a whole lot of offensive weapons here that I'd really feel excited about taking at the end of the first round. So just continue to fill in the side of the football that's done really well for
yeah,
you and get you more weapons over there with Young.
yeah. I like it.
Takes it to 32, the defending champs, Seattle Seahawks. So I got them taking the safety from Toledo right here, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Now, there's a couple guys here that you could say they could take. I think when you're in situations like Seattle, you can more so just take the best players available, and Caleb Banks could be that guy. Uh, Sadiq from Oregon could be that guy. I've said his name so many times. There just always seems to be tight ends that are serviceable enough or good
Yeah,
enough that I'm like, I don't think that they need to go ahead and take him here. But McNeil Warren, really solid safety here from the MAC. Uh,
yeah,
that people have been saying could go late first round here. So that's where I got Seattle going.
yeah.
They
I
got some
had
free agents in that secondary, I know
yeah,
too.
I had McNeil Warren originally in this slot, but I changed my mind. I didn't want to have too many that were like you. I just feel like I'm copying you. So I actually was thinking there's Brandon Cisse from cornerback that we haven't said at all, who's probably the top 25 pick in some people's mocks. You have also Keith Abney from Arizona State. You have Caleb Banks we've talked about. I have Ty Simpson still on the board. Um,
Hmm.
there's TJ Parker, sorry. There's Chase Bizontis, which I was really thinking about. They do need help in the interior of their offensive line. But I went with the guy that you said earlier that I was interested to see if you would ever say, and I'm going with Cassius Howe here. I think if he's sitting at 32 and no one's picked him up,
Hmm.
I think that is a phenomenal pickup if you are um the Seahawks here. Again, I think he's an edge guy that can create a difference. And if people are a little hesitant on him, you have the ability to take that and then develop him as well.
Yeah, there you go, man.
So there it
There's
is.
first 32 picks.
Not bad. Not bad. I actually was quite shocked with how similar we were. I mean, we had a lot of the same thought process, other than that I went with a tight end in the first round and you didn't. I took a second running back who you didn't even think of. So again, I think it's interesting how
Yeah.
we kind of all planned it out there in that
I was
sense,
surprised that we had a lot of the same picks later in the first.
which will not happen, by the way, by the last mock. We never have the same by the last mock. It's
Yeah.
just a whole scrap war.
I
I
mean, if
believe you
I
won
don't
last
have
year's.
Caleb Downs going 5, that radically changes the rest of my draft so
That's
much.
true. If I also don't decide to go Sonny Styles at 10, it also changes everything and then randomly
Yeah.
put guys in the middle. So,
Yeah. So many picks could like totally make this go crazy directions.
the fact that I just realized that I put in the top 10, there's literally four Ohio State guys and two Miami guys. So six of the top 10 picks are basically from like teams that were in the final, what, four, I guess, this past year. Final eight, sorry.
Not crazy, isn't it? I mean, no coincidence that the teams that
No.
made it farthest in the playoffs had the best players
No, it's
for the next
the
level.
crazier part is that Texas A&M has two in our top thing. You have Texas Tech has a couple. I mean, Utah has two tackles going. So
Yeah. Oregon
it's
could have a
awesome.
handful going here too.
High State, I have High State having five different guys going in the first round. So
Yeah.
again, it's awesome to see. Let us know your thoughts down below. What is your mock draft? If you want to post your mock draft, let us know. We'll be posting these out, working on the graphics and putting them out. It's always fun. I'm always excited to hear people bickering about how wrong we are and how much we screwed over their team. I'm like, guys, remember, we are not the GMs. We might be better than some of the GMs in the way that some team GMs pick. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Last year, Josh had the more correct in the first round. So that's just, the way it is. Um,
Hmm.
but anyways, I hope you all
Speaking
have
of
yeah, go
speaking of that
ahead.
Buckeye defense,
Oh,
Matt
this is true.
Patricia
Yeah, yeah.
signed extension.
I feel good, man. I feel less stressed now. I feel less stressed about it.
Yeah. I figured that after the NFL coaching hires all basically got solidified that he wasn't going to be going anywhere. I think it just
I think he
needed
always
to be
wasn't going
announced.
anywhere because what I've heard is that he was never offered anything. He was never even interviewed. It was just his name was
Really?
like there was conversations, but there was never like a full flat out go in an interview. So to me, that just shows there was a lot of talk and buzz, maybe from his agent as well, to kind of create more of a, hey, pay us more, which
More
he
of a
deserves to
demand
get
where
paid
it's like,
more.
yeah, if you want us to stay at Ohio State, you're gonna have to pay us more.
Yeah, and I know his family loves it. He's a young dad, so I know that his kids really love it in Columbus. So that's really cool as well. So, anyways, if you've loved watching this episode of the podcast, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and if you've loved listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, then no, share it with your friends, family, and again, I want you to leave a comment down below who is going to be the most underrated player coming out of this first round this coming up year? Who's going to be your most underrated player? Maybe we'll discuss that in the next show. But again, we'll be coming back with our continue our top 10 in baseball, and then our next mock will be in a couple weeks after we've had a couple of weeks to kind of look through a lot of the different stats and totals of different things. So mock 1.0 is here. We hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, we'll see ya.